Hi, this is Chevalier, also known as Chelsea Donoghue, and I'm originally from Ballarat, and I'm a singer-songwriter and touring musician. Most of my time is spent with an artist called Rule, and he's a young international superstar, I guess you'd call him, and I'm his vocal coach, backing singer, and vocal arranger. So we spend most of our time on the road, touring throughout the world. But most recently, I've just released my first solo project under the name Chevalier, and that's called No More. So that's available on all platforms. Give it a listen if you like. But what I would like to chat about is, I guess, my roots in Ballarat and my involvement in South Street growing up. So yeah, I think I've spent at least 10 years competing in South Street when I was younger. And now that I'm kind of performing professionally, I can look back and see that there are a lot of core fundamental traits that I learnt in South Street that I've now taken with me in my life and in my music. So I wanted to chat about a few of the most important things I think I've taken with me. And the first one is discipline and commitment. When you're given a date that you have to perform and you have a whole year to prepare for it, for me that entailed a lot of early mornings, late nights, and having to practice in my own time. And when you have to practice in your own time, you have to want something so badly that you have a drive to practice. And that was ingrained in me from an early age, and I'm still like that, and I think that's probably the reason why I'm still performing. When you're a kid as well, your friends are playing and doing other fun things, and you're inside practicing. It's not always easy, but there's that reward, and for me that reward was performing at South Street each year, and having a date to work towards, to say, okay, on this date the stage is mine, and I can express myself, express my creativity, and showcase my skill. And each year that moment became more and more exciting for me. So each year I was more driven, and I had more motivation to keep that persistence, and I was so committed to it. So I think I'm thankful to South Street for helping me gain that discipline and finding that commitment in my craft. The second thing I want to talk about is the resilience, I think, that I learnt through South Street. And I think that's such an important thing to have, not even in music or in the arts, but just as a person. At the end of the day, South Street is a competition, and there's only one winner. And especially when you're a kid, it can be really hard to not be the winner when you've tried so hard. But to me, I learnt from an early age to channel that energy into motivation to get better and to improve. And even if the next year you don't get the medal as well, at least you've improved within yourself. And that's a really awesome quality to have. And I think that's the key to success, really, when you get knocked back, to not throw in the towel, but to just keep going. I've had so many auditions I've been knocked back, and jobs that I've wanted that I didn't get. And it still sucks, but the next day you just say, okay, I'm going to keep going, I'll keep trying, let's reassess, how can I improve? And in the end it does work out. So that's also something I learnt through South Street that I'm really appreciative for. The last thing that I want to talk about, and perhaps the most important thing, is through South Street I gained the insight of how important it is to have a strong, positive and supportive team of people around you. And there's two layers to that, and the first layer is your direct immediate team. So that's like your teachers, your coaches, your family, even the other competitors. It's so important that those people are good people and that they encourage you and inspire you each day. Because working in the arts isn't always wonderful. Sometimes it's exhausting, it's tiring, you can't be bothered. So having those people around you kind of pushing you and inspiring you is so important. And even through Rule, Elton John is a big fan of Rule, and the one key piece of advice he gave Rule was that your main focus is to make sure that you have a really good team of people around you. Good people, and people who will push you to be better every day. And that's what I learned in South Street as well. And the second layer to that point is the people who make the event happen in the first place, who give you the opportunity to perform. And my auntie Cherie pointed out when I was much younger, look at the ushers over there, look at the people backstage, look at the person in the box calling your name when you walk on stage. They're volunteers, and if it weren't for them, you wouldn't have the opportunity to perform at all. So I think it's really important to be respectful and acknowledge that. And even now working on a bigger scale, I guess, and doing festivals like Falls Festival, Splendour in the Grass, even festivals overseas in Japan and in LA, volunteers run these events. And we wouldn't have the opportunity to perform there in the first place if it weren't for them. So yeah, I've taken that with me from learning that in South Street, to be gracious and to be respectful and to acknowledge that my opportunity to perform wouldn't even happen if it weren't for those people. Yeah, so I think I'll leave it there, but a big thank you to South Street. I'm a big fan. It's on my bucket list to be a judge one day for the vocal section, so hopefully that happens. But thank you and much love, and yeah, talk soon.